Next question. With the current budget problems, what would you do to keep our school district programs intact? With the current budget problems facing the district, what would you do to keep our programs intact? And we will begin with Mrs. Hartford.
Well, if you guys have been coming to the Finance Committee meetings, you know that I believe that I'm looking for a district-wide salary freeze. I'm also looking for raising our taxes, basically 2.5 to 1 level, and special exceptions. And when you look at those taxes, those special exceptions are paid for things that are mandated by the state. That means your school board doesn't have a choice on paying for those items. We are required to pay those items. And I have to go back to the current budget problems. I would say a lot of them were handed to us. They've come down from the state. Our budget was currently cut. We had back in January had planned much differently, and right now we're reaching a point. We've gone through a lot of cost savings, a lot of revenue building, and I believe we will solve this year's problems, but we will go forward in a bigger plan with all of you involved in the next 3 years.
Perfect. When I said perfect, for the record, I was talking about the time. Mr. Nichols.
It's a little hard to follow someone that's perfect. You know, our problem is not here. Our problem is in Harrisburg. You know, let's face it, they've taken, for instance, many years ago we incorporated a sales tax in Pennsylvania, and the sales tax was built under aid education. That's what it was for. And now it's at 6%, and instead of us getting funded at 50%, we're getting funded at 30%. The money's gone other places. I've been in touch with my representative. We're going to get a little bit of money back this year, hopefully $238,000, bring us up to our old age where we were there. But we have to talk to our representatives. We have to get our money that they took from us. That's what we need. They're bringing it down on us to try to solve the problem that they've created. You know, we have to continue to try to take things away from our children that they're denying them, not us. You know, and we're going to find ways to get this done, and we are getting it done.
That's time. Mr. Christie.
Chair. All right. Well, I would have to say ditto to what Mr. Nichols and Mrs. Hartford have said, but I think it's going to take everyone. We all have a responsibility for this resource called our children. I'm a grandparent, I have a responsibility. Somebody else has the responsibility for my grandchildren, where they live. That what I would want to do is work collaboratively with the teaching staff. We need at this point some type of a freeze, unfortunately, because of the situation we're facing. Another thing is maybe to challenge every department, all the areas, like 10%, to see if they could cut across the board something. Gilbertsville had a budget of about, I don't know, might have been 80,000, something like that. And for me to be challenged, can I cut $8,000? And then I think also looking beyond where is farthest away from the children, as we've all, I think, been, or what we've been indicating. I think that has to be looked at too. But we need to go to our state representatives and beat the bushes.
Mrs. U. Savage.
There are many pieces to the solution, and I'm on the chair. Okay, there we go. One is we all need to contact our legislators and let them know what this is doing to us. We need to educate them. But we need to have a combination of cuts furthest from the students. We need to keep looking for ways to increase revenue. I think the community has now agreed that a pay-for-play kind of activity fee is acceptable. We need to continue to pursue the district-wide pay freeze, and I'm not sure what I can say, but I'll say that we received some favorable news today, so I'm feeling very hopeful there. And as a very last resort, we would have to raise taxes to save the most important programs, but only to the extent necessary to do that and planning forward into the years ahead.
Mr. Alcier.
Okay, good question. I guess my approach would be very similar. I would look at a three-pronged approach. One, look for new revenues. There's corporations out there. I've read some things, seen some things where corporations go in and provide money to the schools, things like that. So I think that's one vehicle we could pursue. Grants is another, and I know we do some of that. But again, you got to ask the question, is it enough? Is there more out there? And I firmly believe there's more money out there to be had. Second of the prong would be a coalition to talk to our state legislators. And not just now, but the best way to predict the future is to create it. We need to be working on 2012 right now, 2013, with our state legislators. And lastly, reviewing processes, minimizing waste. Can we do more with less? Can we streamline things to cut costs? And that's it in a nutshell. Thank you.
Next up, Mr. Parsons.
Well, 1 minute certainly isn't going to cut it, so I do ask that you read the literature that I put over there. If you get a chance on your way out, pick that up. First and foremost, I mean, the biggest expense that we're looking at in the district is teacher and administrator salary. I know when I went to school back in '88, we certainly didn't have the number of administrators, even at the high school, that we do now. I think there's room for cuts in the administration. I think the teachers need a pay freeze, as well as we need to look at some of the benefits that the teachers have. I do believe we need to keep our good teachers here. We need to pay them as they deserve to be paid, without a doubt. But as we're facing this downturn right now, we need to adjust things to reflect that. The teachers' salaries, the teachers' pension is weighing us down quite a bit. And then, of course, we have to look at the programs that we have, and we have to look at every other way we can possibly save by bringing more revenues in, by working with our state legislators and everything else. But the big elephant in the room is definitely the teachers' pay and salaries and administrators. And that's what
That's time.
Next question. In light of labor contracts and personnel benefits and the like, and those incumbent concerns, how will you deal with future labor negotiations? Again, in light of the labor contracts and personnel benefits and the like, and the incumbent concerns, how will you deal with future labor negotiations in the district? And we will start with Mr. Nichols.
Well, having been involved in negotiations before and now, it's a system of give and take, and I think that we'll be successful if we all sit down at the table with the same thing in mind, and that is our children and what's best for this community. And I think we can get it done that way. I think the Teachers Association has met us quite well in our discussions. You know, we're together trying to get this resolved. And I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I think we'll be able to proceed that way. I think we can get along and get this done. We're all in the same boat here. It's our kids. Thank you.
Mr. Crispin.
I think we have to collaborate with the teaching staff as well as all the other groups that are involved in, because I think we're the largest employer in Boyertown, the school district is. So we need to look at that. I think we need to also examine what is around us, what other districts, what the teachers have, their packages, what's involved there. It takes the research and looking at that. And I think the teachers really do have the children as their primary purpose. They understand that. They just also want to be compensated for what they do. And I just think that we need to work together and somehow bring that. I don't have a set answer because you know what? When you talk to people, you give and take. There's give and take. And that's hard to put into words.
Mrs. Savage.
I think I'm going to say what Ron said again. Collaboration is the key word. I think there is common ground. The common ground is our students. And if we start at the common ground, just like we do in business, we always start where, you know, what's the point at which we agree? What are we all trying to achieve? And no matter how different the angles we're coming from, if we remind ourselves of that common ground, we can make a lot of progress. We are blessed with a staff that is truly dedicated to their kids, to our kids. I've seen from my daughters that my daughter in college has several teachers that she considers role models today. That's because they put a lot of themselves into it, and I think we can build on that. And benchmarking, looking around at what is around us. I think in a lot of cases, I've seen where I think we can do more in benchmarking where we stand as a district compared to other districts and move from there.
Mr. Elsier.
Couple thoughts. One is absolutely collaborate with the teachers and work together with them. My family, my two children have been blessed in their years with just excellent teachers all the way around, every year, year after year, and I think that says a lot. In fact, my daughter, still, I guess at this time, she'll come home from school and go down in the basement and play school, as though she's the teacher. So they have very positively been impacted by the teachers. I think some of it's already been said. We all want the same thing. Keeping the focus on the children will help us find the common ground. Obviously, it's from some different viewpoints, but I think it's important to understand what the viewpoints are and work together. And then learn from other districts. What are other folks doing? Because there's a lot of good ideas out there, and we can't make decisions in a vacuum.
Mr. Parsons.
Well, unfortunately, this is my last question because I have to go to work. However, I do believe that we need to work with the teachers. They're obviously the most important part of the education. They provide the education for our children. And they do need to be paid reasonably well. We're not the only school district that is facing these problems. Every school district in the entire country is looking for budget shortfalls, and unfortunately teachers' pays are getting scaled back or frozen where they're at right now, and hopefully in the very near future the economy turns around and we can pay the teachers more. I want to pay them as much as we can to get the best teachers we can for this community, but we need to work with them, find a solution that works for both all three of us, the students, the teachers, and for the public.
Mrs. Hartford.
First off, going forward, for future negotiations, I think it would be best at some point in time that the school board and administrators ask the teachers directly what they would like to see from bottom up as far as education is concerned, because they're there in the classroom, they know the changes that can be made. They can help a lot as far as instead of having a top-down telling them what's best for their classroom, because a lot of these people sitting up on the top aren't in the classroom. So I think they can contribute a lot to the process as far as negotiating and what would best serve them in the contract. And I think, and then having the school board then come in and the administrators then, what can we support as far as the dollars and the reasonableness of coming together in a central ground to support, once again, our students.